Greetings, Tecmo Super Bowl fans. This is Trojan, joined by Pete T here in the booth again. Nice to have you again with us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, did great last time. We're happy to have you in the booth. We're going to go ahead and call a game here with Odell, who is co-founder of the Kumite, who chose this matchup. He is the number 3 seed in our tournament, and number 19 seed is Tundrayeti, and the matchup is Lions-Dolphins. And we're going to get right into it here, and the recording that we got from them skipped past the initial splash screen, so it's going to go right into the kickoff here. And we are off.
All right. Be interesting to see how well Tundra uses that passing attack of the Dolphins. You know, they're kind of they're a scalpel. You know, they're dangerous, but you got to use them with precision. So we'll see how the matchup works out for them.
And Barry, always a threat. Tapping advantage could play a factor. One grapple can certainly lead to a lot of trouble here. And a lot of times we'll see teams call run against, well, Barry Sanders is Barry Sanders, and he's on the cut screen of the game for a reason.
That's right.
But then they'll go ahead and run you to death with Rodney Pete. Throws it under here to Richard Johnson, who has 19 max speed.
Yeah. Rodney Pete's a 31 max speed, so that's tied with Testaverde as the second fastest quarterback, I believe. So he's a threat back there.
Short to one player, and that would be
the ultimate weapon.
That's right. Ultimate Weapon, who ran for a long time on a called pass one last night against a certain commentator. Oh, that was fun. All right, nice play there by Odell as he's moving the chains here pretty efficiently. 25-yard line, single back formation, run and shoot, and up to Mel Gray on the time JJ, perfectly executed into the end zone. Touchdown, Odell.
Yeah, you saw him really take advantage of Tundra probably sitting on the run there and just got picked apart. Also saw a really long pass play to Sanders there, play before this. It's 44 receptions himself, so 44 receptions, 69 speed. You know, he's a threat on run or pass.
So that didn't take too long here. We'll see if Tundrayeti can answer. Has Page on the return out to the 11-yard line. Looks like a mix of pro set, single back, and we even have a weak side open and an offset eye.
Yeah, interesting choice of playbook here. You know, a lot more pro set than I would expect out of the Dolphins.
Throws it underneath the Smith behind the line. Actually turns it into a nice little gain there past the yard marker, first down. Goes a Coffer this time on defense and gets popcorn, and Smith has himself a nice run out past the 50. Doesn't get out of bounds, luckily no fumble. And up past the 50, first down for Tundrayeti, moving the ball well.
Yeah, I took advantage of Odell choosing Kofor on that play. Really put him in a bad spot.
White and Kofor seem to be the preferred defenders on this team, and you kind of have to pick your battles. And when you have those situations, you like to do a little more disguising with your playbook, and I think that's one thing where I think Odell's going to be able to key on some things here from Tundrayeti.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the Smith again, about 4 yards or 3 yards looks like on first down.
He's really a surprisingly good safety. I mean, he's the same as Oliver on the Dolphins, so he has a 56 speed, 56 interceptions. He's a good player. You usually see people with Kofor and Spielman, but you know, White's a great choice as well.
Attempts to go down to the burn route, does Tundrayeti, and gets deflected by the defender. Looks like we've got 3rd and 7 coming up, single back. Sticking with Crockett, running away from, so Crockett in a good position here to deal with that, and now we have 4th and 2, and we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder if he might have been sitting on run 2 or 3, so picked Crockett so he could attack that top run in the event it was called. Ooh. Gut check time for Tundra here. Looks like he's manning up and going for it.
Expect to see Spielman try to popcorn this. Yep, he does.
Oof.
And Spielman is also a serviceable linebacker, especially in that situation against that play. Normally, you know, against those linebackers, you want to have something that runs at them, not necessarily away from them, because it's just not set up right against that defense. But
we saw a really high variation outcome there. If he bounces off that block, it's probably a touchdown. But as it was, he knocked the defender off his block, then had two guys there to snuff the run on fourth.
Pass 4 underneath to Gray. First down, Odell. And we see called pass 1 here, and Wisely eats the ball. John Offerdahl cleaning up here, second and 21.
Yeah, you saw Tundra finally come off of the run call there, so he's mixing it up.
Dangerous pass there. I'm not sure what he was looking at. It didn't appear to be open. And
it looked like he was going to wide receiver 2 on the bottom, and it was just a terrible short pass.
Looks like JJ time here. Nope, comes underneath the Sanders, clears it all out. Now Sanders is in the open, and Wisely gets out of bounds as Tundrayeti sneaks back up just past the first down marker. Nice play there by Odell. Had me fooled.
Yeah, me too. And that's also a mistake that me or some other more inexperienced players might make with Sanders there. We feel like, hey, we got Sanders the ball. I'm going to stretch this out as long as I can. But he smartly just got out of bounds, took the first down, and keeps the drive moving.
And Rodney Peete doing Rodney Peete things. 31 MS, getting that first down with his legs. And Tundrayeti hasn't had too many answers here to slow down Odell so far. This drive's taking a little bit longer, but that might be by design. I think Odell's looking to milk this clock down best he can.
Mm-hmm.
Dive play, running play 2, and now he gets the blocking help that he needs, and he's off to the races. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Odell.
Yeah, it seemed like every time Tundrayeti zigged, Odell zagged on that one, whether it was run or pass. When the Lions are clicking, they're balanced, mobile quarterback. They just are really tough to stop. So we'll see if Tundrayeti can answer here. He's going to have to really get that pass game going. It's the big advantage with the Dolphins is you can get those hot routes, and with the way his playbook is, the only hot route that I see really is pass 3 there on the bottom. That's going to work with any regularity. So. Seems like he maybe hamstrung himself a little bit there.
The other thing we haven't mentioned here is that Odell is playing essentially with his home team. He is a Michigan native, and just like someone calls Packers Browns, I'm taking the Packers. They're my hometown team. 9 out of 10 times I'm going to take the Pack. Mainly because Sterling Sharp is always open. Nice run here by Marino, looking a little faster than he should be, but gets it done there with his legs.
A little less statuesque than I expected from Marino there. He of the 6 maximum speed.
The running joke is that whenever Marino gets a good run, he has 7 maximum speed instead of 6, which isn't possible in Tecmo if you understand the way the stats increase. But I'm gonna go with that anyway.
Hey, I'm not gonna stop you. A big third down here. We'll see what Tundrayeti goes to under duress, because he doesn't make it here. He's got a tough choice. Lions can score really quickly. So you hate to punt, but you hate to go for it. It's really in no man's land there.
Looks like we have called pass 4. Is going on to Farrell Edmonds, who's open and did have the tap advantage there. I didn't perceive him to be open in there. I don't know if there's a Jim Jensen sighting on the field. I don't think he is on the field currently.
I don't see him, no. Yeah, clutch covered catch there by Edmonds. He was gets upset about losing his job to Jensen all the time. He's showing that he can do it too.
Well, he's a little bit faster than Jensen, but doesn't have those soft hands.
Yeah, I mean, really, if he was on any other team, he'd be kind of a star player for a tight end. He's quite good. What is he? I think he's 50 receptions, 44 speed. Or it's 38 speed, excuse me. But, I mean, for a tight end, 50-38, it's solid.
And this is going to be it here to the end zone. and incomplete. So leaving some points on the board, but when you're down 14 in this type of game against this type of player, no one's going to blame Tundrayeti for going for it there. Unfortunately, he did not have the opportunity to go for 2 plays because he got tackled inbounds, and he could have gone 2 shots down below if he had a little more time.
Yeah, still got a chance to drive for a touchdown here and be right back in the game with the stop. So it's far from out of it.
Nice return there by Page out near the 20, and
yeah, I wonder if we'll see him go back to the run a bit here. He was actually having quite a bit of success on the ground in that first drive, and he's still got plenty of time to put a good drive together.
Nice choice to Edmonds there. Timed that perfectly. That's the one thing with Marino. His delivery isn't good for JJ attempts, but it's fantastic for squeezing balls in there that you wouldn't normally want to throw. And decent run there. He got a little held up on that.
Yeah, he was bouncing off that bottom blocker. He had a chance to actually break that for a much bigger gain. Still a nice pickup, though.
Good coverage here by the drones. Wisely just takes it, and not sure why he's keeping in bounds. And now it's a fumble, and dodges a bullet out of bounds there. First and 10, Tundrayeti.
I always like it when there's a scrum in the crowd. I like to imagine there's little 8-bit beers getting spilled up there.
Well, I tell you, Ron Artest, he knows all about that. Or right. Meta World Peace, or whatever he calls himself these days.
Another nice pickup there on the ground.
That's what he called it. He's keeping it on the ground.
Yeah, look at that. See, I think Odell was worried about getting out-tapped there and went for the dive.
Yeah, one interesting thing, I know he's trying to maybe get a little better down and distance advantage there, but if he just kind of waits for that drone help, I think he gets it. But it looks like it's about a 10 to 12 tap speed roughly between these guys. Throws it down, probably the correct choice there.
Yeah, I mean, your odds of getting a pick from Marino to either Duper or Clayton are pretty low. It's worth tossing it up and seeing what happens.
Every once in a while you get one of those diving catches and potential opportunity for a burn route, and he doesn't do that, but he does get it to Page, but short of the first, 3rd and 1.
Don't see Page coming up with those big catches that often. It was a nice play there. And another popcorn on the bottom blocker, and yeah, he's really got that one sniffed out.
Yeah, I think just based on what we saw on that 4th down early in the game, that was the wrong play. Now he's got to just not call it anymore. There's nothing that disguises it.
Oh, man. Gets out-tapped when it mattered the most there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And then the drone was going to clean up anyway. So Tundrayeti just not able to capitalize here on the position in the field. He's moving the ball, but he can't get the 7 when he needs it.
Yeah, man, I can really empathize. Tundra and I have played a bit online, and I think we're probably pretty comparable skill. And when you play these upper level players, it's like you can move the ball, but you get inside that 20-yard line, and all of a sudden, it's a different story. Everything tightens up, and it's just those last 20 yards are tough. But a nice interception there, and still not out of it. Let's see if he can call up some red zone offense here and finally punch one in.
Odell attempting to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and Chris Spielman makes a play when Odell needs it here. We'll see if Tundrayeti can actually capitalize here. Looks like pass 4 underneath the Page. And, I mean, at what point you got to start taking your shots here into the end zone. This little underneath stuff is just not getting it done for him. And there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Duper, one of the Marks brothers, getting it done here. And that's the thing here with these high reception stat receivers as well as pass control from Marino. And as player 2, you can't get an onside kick. It's almost impossible. So you really gotta throw it in the end zone, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you need a score, a stop, and a score. And with the Dolphins, it's like my 10-year-old son calls them the mini Oilers. He really likes to be the Dolphins because you just have a really high chance of a CC there. And where a lot of teams that throw might be way too risky. The last touchdown there is like kind of the right play with the Dolphins. You toss it to Marino to Duper, and good things are going to happen on a regular basis.
And we see Rodney Peete goes for 4 yards there. He's going to be real conservative here, especially after that pick, you got to think.
Yeah, he's just going to kill him with 1,000 cuts here, just 4 or 5 yards at a time.
And
that's where having
we just
really
saw a high-level tactic at the top there with Peete. The way that he juked and manipulated the drones to buy more time to spread the field to cause Tundrayeti to have to go back and cover a guy, which opened up his running lane in front of him. That's the kind of stuff that we see people force the issue trying to run. They get 2 yards. That's the difference between a no gain, a 2-yard run with a quarterback versus a 6-yard run. It's those little yards that add up, and suddenly, and can't do anything about that. You're going to get those drop passes.
Yeah, tough break there.
May have called pass. He's got 2 guys open. Oh, and he turns
this time Gray comes down with it. Yeah, you see, for players who aren't as familiar with the Dolphins, you'll see this a lot where Mill Gray will get put in at wide receiver 1 there. So he's 56 speed, 50 reception. So he's really has the stats of not a top tier, but a pretty good wide receiver. Gives the Lions a little more speed with him and Clark on either side of the field as wide receivers. So if you're wondering why there's a running back up there at wide receiver 1, that is why.
Very similar to, I believe, James Brooks. I see a lot of times people put in a like Green, for instance, at running back and use Brooks as a wide receiver too.
Or to a lesser extent with the Rams, you have Buford McGee, who's 44 speed, 50 receptions. There's these backup running backs that function as serviceable wide receivers can be a huge asset if you're checking their conditions, especially. They go into good, all of a sudden you got another top flight wide receiver out there.
Great manipulation and time wasting there by Odell, milking that clock down.
Yeah, I mean, Tundra, he actually really defended that well. You get put in a fork there, and Odell's obviously a great player, and he's gonna put you in the torture chamber.
The thing about mobile quarterbacks is just because you have one doesn't mean you're going to be able to do all these tricks. It takes a lot of practice and know how to maneuver and manipulate drones, and that's something that takes just time with experience. But when you can be effective in the backfield by buying time with your quarterback, that opens up a whole lot of options for you. And now we have underneath just too many jukes for Tundrayeti to deal with, and now we have a 2-touchdown lead coming here with the extra point for Odell with 58 seconds remaining. Pending the kickoff here, I don't see any opportunity for a two-score. There's not enough time on the clock here. So this game is essentially in the books here for Odell, and we'll see what Tundrayeti does with the 45 seconds he has left here.
Yeah, it felt like Tundra was really controlling that game, Odell was controlling that game from the kick. But you really look at the score, and Tundra was kind of in it to the end there, and I think he was up against a tough opponent, and he really played pretty good defense. He was bending but not breaking, but just his red zone offense just wasn't quite where it needed to be to punch it in from the 20-yard line in, and that's really what it came down to.
So we see Mitchell in the game here. This is because he has slower pass speed. It gives receivers more time to get down the field, and as well as the trajectory is a little more favorable for jumping catches. But this game is in the books. Odell over Tundrayeti. Statistically, really not that much difference between either team. We saw that one interception from Odell. But as you mentioned, just finishing drives is what Odell was able to do, and Tundrayeti just couldn't get it into the end zone throughout that game. But both moved the ball with a relative efficiency today, 72 and 69% with your quarterbacks, and both were over 100 yards passing. In Tecmo, that's
pretty solid.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, with thinking about the goal line stuff with Tundra, he was really moving the ball well on the ground. Just would like to see a little more a little more use of hot routes in the playbook. Particularly, the Lions secondary, aside from White, is not fantastic. Particularly the top cornerback is a 25 speed, 38 interceptions. So you can really abuse that top cornerback on hot routes. And the plays, particularly run pass 1 and pass 2, he just wasn't able to take advantage, particularly the top of the field where there's a bad corner and a bad safety.
Well, Tundrayeti losing this game puts him into the losers bracket, and we will be covering those games very soon here. And Odell continues on to the next round of the winners bracket. So good news for both players. Odell's moving on against tougher opponents, and Tundrayeti, it's no joke down in the losers bracket. A lot of good players down there as well. So thanks for joining me today here, Pete. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. Leave us a comment, let you know what you thought about the matchup today. And if you want to get connected to the rest of the games that we're broadcasting here for this tournament and beyond, go ahead and hit subscribe, and you'll get alerted when we have videos being uploaded. So we'd like to thank you for joining us today. For Pete T, this is Trojan signing off for GBLAN Online Tecmo.